Can we get a couple shots over here on the play? A couple shots on the play.
I think Rick's too busy for that. Anyway,
this is our version of our friend Phil's version of a.
This is our friend Phil's version of a Mississippi John Hurt.
But it's our version of a.
But it's our version of his version of his version of Mississippi John Hurt.
It's a long fucking story. This is our version of a friend's version of a friend's version of a Tommy V tune.
Anyway, not really though.
All right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Country on a lonesome hill, I crow by day and night, oh, the whippoorwill. I used to live in the country on a lonesome hill, I crow by day and night, oh, the whippoorwill. And I don't remember the time when I'm going to be so satisfied. The little red hen said to the rooster, "You don't come round, mama, shake and shake like you used to." Well, the little red hen said to the rooster, "You don't come round, mama, shake and shake like you used to." And I don't remember time, but I'm going to be more satisfied. All right now, boy. Let's see what's out. Satisfied and I'm a tickle too. In my mind, I got my dirty pictures of you. And I'm satisfied and I'm a tickle too. In my mind, I got my dirty pictures of you. That's how I feel saying it. Strip all out. And I don't remember time when I'm going to be more satisfied. One more time, man. Crow by day and night, they want to whippoorwill. And I don't remember the time when I'm going to be more satisfied. That's right. And I don't remember I'm going to be satisfied.
Hit it.
Someday, my baby, when I am a man, and others have taught me the best that they can. Sell me a suit and they'll cut off my hair. Send me to work in tall buildings. Goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and it's goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway and must not be late. I'm going to work on tall buildings. When I retire and my life is my own, made all my payments and it's time to go on. Wonder what happened betwixt and between when I went to work in tall buildings. Just goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and it's goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway and must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. Goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and it's goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway, must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. It's goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and it's goodbye to you.
Well, all right. Morning, everybody. There we are. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Slow News Day Morning Edition. My name is Steve-Poikonen. I'm hanging out with Sleepy. Lot going on today. Got a slow start, kind of out of it, a little bit out of sorts. Ghislaine Maxwell heads to court We're going to be getting into that. Going to be talking a little bit about who's prosecuting her. Going to be talking about how truly messed up this whole thing is. The judge is kind of bent. I mean, we talked about this yesterday with Sal and Clint. I don't know if I've ever met a judge that isn't as crooked as a dog's hind leg. Shout out to Travis T. Hip for that one. But yeah, so that's going on. Before I get into all that, though, and the rest of the news, of which there is a whole lot, including a very funny story about Canada having their very own Elizabeth Warren. It's delightful. And it's a feel-good story. We'll get to that. Let me run through the business. I am trying to travel today, and apparently the only time that we get donations is when we're live on the air. So I'm gonna be live on the air for 476 hours straight. I'm kidding. But if you're in a position to donate to any independent media, please consider Slow News Day. You can find all of those links in your description on the video here. The Cashspp and the GoFundMe are probably the best ways. You can always buy Sleepy Josh coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Bort, B-O-R-T. The QR code right above me in the corner of the screen there is for Matrix Bars. Matrix Bars do sponsor the show. They send me a couple of these a month. They are delicious mushroom chocolate bars. 3.5 grams per bar, 4 delicious flavors. Strawberries and cream shouldn't taste good, but they do. Weird. At any rate, if you're interested in micro or macro dosing, you've been wondering what mushrooms might be able to do for you, but you've been put off by the taste or by people who accurately describe it as, these things grow on shit. Consider a delivery system, I guess, made out of incredibly yummy chocolate. I would do that. Let's see. Anything else? I don't know. I think I want to do the Liz Warren thing first, though, because I know for a fact I can do it on YouTube, and I'm not sure how much of the show altogether I should be doing on YouTube. So let me go ahead and pull that up. I'm not going to play the audio, I don't think, because I can't from that computer. But just to kind of give you an idea of who this crazy lady is. She calls herself Morningstar Bear, or that's part of her name, Morningstar Bear. Also, if you notice on the side of the screen there, that headline that says Jack Dorsey says he's stepping down as Twitter CEO. We're going to be getting into that a little bit too. Lots of rumors and speculation going on around that. But first, this wingnut. Now, let me go back over here. This is fun. I'm running 2 machines and I have no idea. Yeah. 2 machines and kind of dumb. Where are you? Daily Mail article. There you are. Here we go. Good times. Let's see. No, god damn it. That's the wrong Daily Mail article. I swear to God. This is bullshit. Let's see. Where's the thing? You know what? I'll come back to that in just a minute. Daily Mail. This is why I need my mic stand back. Morningstar Bear. That's funny. This is hilarious, dude. Like this lady really did spend her whole life saying that she was a part of a Canadian Native American tribe. Here we go. Here we go. And she's doing health policy in Canada. That's honestly like the main thing that I wanted to drive home while we talked about this. Is that this is somebody who has been working for Canada's Institute of Health. Canada Institutes of Health Research investigations into her genealogy conducted by her colleagues in the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation found no Indigenous heritage. So I'm honestly kind of torn, you guys, as to whether or not she qualifies as Elizabeth Warren or Rachel Dolezal. I'm not. Maybe you guys could let me know. Please do in the chat and comments. Whether I have incorrectly addressed her as Elizabeth Warren. Maybe she is the Canadian Rachel Dolezal. A Canadian Indigenous public health expert has been placed on leave from 2 public institutions where she led research after investigations found no evidence of her Indigenous heritage. Carrie Bourassa or Morning Star Bears. Colleagues in the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation investigated and failed to find any Indigenous relatives. The University of Saskatchewan professor and the scientific director of the Institute of Indigenous Peoples Health for the Canadian Institutes of Health Research announced her suspension on Monday. This happened at the beginning of the month, by the way. I think it was like November 2nd or November 3rd. Her employers initially stood by Bourassa when her Indigenous ancestry was questioned, but both institutions have since confirmed that she was placed on leave, with the university opening an investigation into her Indigenous ancestry claims. Bourassa claims to be, I'm going to fuck that up, Metis, Anishinaabe, and Tlingit. And I'm sorry for murdering that. I apologize. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Let me know. But a statement released by her sister, Jody Burnett, on behalf of her family, says the Indigenous public health expert's description of our family is inaccurate, not rooted in fact, and moreover is irrelevant to the issue of whether or not Carrie Bourassa is Metis. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to fuck that up. For nearly 20 years now, Bourassa, who's in her late 40s, says that she was born into a family with Metis, Anishinaabe, and Tlingit roots, but has never shown any documentation proving her ancestry, except for apparently this blanket, which she wore while giving a TED Talk, also carrying a feather and I would assume a Cleveland Indians mascot. Yeah, I'm not going to play that. I'm really not. It's not even worth it. She says, my name is Morning Star Bear, tearing up at the beginning of her 2019 TED Talk, in which she wore a bright blue shawl, a metis sash, and carried a feather. I'm just going to say it. I'm emotional, she said, telling the crowd that she could feel her ancestors, and in particularly her Metis grandfather in the room. In the room. That's a great imagination, lady. I'm Bear Clan. I'm Anishinaabe Metis from Treaty 4 territory, Bourassa said. And look, it's actually, I'm going to put the link in the chats here because it kind of is worth listening to for the sole fact that she's doing an accent. She's forcibly trying to make herself sound more native. And that's fucked up. Let's see. Let's go down here a little bit. Oh, these are her parents that created the very dark brown native woman. This is her hot blonde sister who, I mean, anyway. She also the MNS governs the Regina Bourassa claims her emeritus ministership first, but she also claims Tlingit ancestry, which she said was first revealed to her 16 years ago when she received her spirit name. in the Tlingit language, and then confirmed to her by a Tlingit relative in October of 2017. No actual claim as to who the relative is, and no production of the relative. Some of Barrasa's colleagues became increasingly skeptical of her indigenous ancestry and decided to look into her ancestral lines. Caroline Tate, a Metis professor and medical anthropologist at the University of Saskatchewan, who has worked with Barrasa for over 10 years, said she began to question her colleagues' ancestral claims as Barrasa began noting ties to the Anishinaabe and Tlingit communities and dressing in more stereotypically indigenous styles. Quote, "Everybody cheers and claps. It's beautiful," said Tate. "It is the performance that we all want from indigenous people. This performance of being stoic, spiritual, culturally attached person with which we can identify because we've seen them in Disney movies." Bam. That's right. I'm going to go back up to, yeah, this one. That's a spray tan blonde chick, y'all. Maybe she's naturally a brunette. Her mom was a brunette. Hot blonde sister looked natural. This is why people hate liberals. You just want to make that perfectly clear. This bullshit is one of the reasons, one of the many, many, many justifiable reasons why people hate liberals. The fact that this woman for decades hid behind an ancestry that did not belong to her just so she could get ahead. This is what Homeboy was talking about in that podcast we listened to yesterday about the overproduction of fucking college graduates who have, I'm sure she went to school for whatever studies job or teaching job, found out that there were hundreds of applicants looking for the exact same position. And what do you do when your university system has been hijacked by the woke mob in identity politics and things like making sure that you have successfully introduced critical theory into, your indoctrination system. In order to get ahead in that system, this woman had to invent a heritage that didn't belong to her. This is like, the whole university system, not just in the US, because it's clearly happening in Canada, is a downward spiral at this point. This is crazy. Crazy. This is crazy. Fucking, I don't know. So, I mean, really? Yeah, dude. Oh, Mona's in the chat. Never happens. Hey, Mona, how's it going? Josh is helping me, Mona. He is. You just can't tell.
I do shit.
He helped by letting me crash at his house and do the show from his room. He helped. Promise. Otherwise, there would be no show, or it would be like 30 to 45 minutes with a hard disconnect. And then about 7 to 12 minutes later, I would come back on to try and pick up where nightmare, absolute nightmare. Let me go to the next story, and I would like a little bit of confirmation on it, but you know what? No, I don't want to do that. Back click through 400 things because I'm an asshole and totally forgot that I wasn't supposed to touch this tab. Yay. I don't understand why. Okay, so apparently Kyle Rittenhouse got invited to speak at Arizona State University. So imagine rampant shit liberty that's going to result from that. But there's a student group, and this is something that I want to, we were kind of talking about it on the show yesterday, or at least talking around it, when we had the discussion about like what the Libertarian Party's response to the whole Rittenhouse thing should have been. Where in my opinion, and I guess Sal's, they missed the boat quite a bit, because they lionized the kid. And then I look at shit like this. I guess I'll go ahead and oh no, that's what it was. God damn it. What did I just do? You're an asshole, Steve. I don't even know how I did that. God damn it. Well, because I don't have Twitter. I'm not logged into my Twitter or anything else over there. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. At any rate, I just lost 2 of the clips that I was gonna pull up. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah. I hear what the fuck I was talking. Oh, that's right. The whole fucking Rittenhouse thing. So ASU is they're like organizing a counter demonstration to Rittenhouse coming to speak. They're making like signs that, you know, address him as a murderer and shit like that. Keep the murderer off our campus, blah, 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 blah. And it made me realize that, like, this is fucking why. This is why the LP had a shit reactionary take. This is why so many people who aren't politically affiliated whatsoever, but do recognize the weaponization of the narrative, had such a bad take. Because fuck, dude, they're reacting. They're reacting to the nonsense that the fucking woke mob puts out. Like, oh my God, we have to protest this murderer. Yeah, dude, he shot a couple people. They did not live. Legally, though, not a murderer. Oh, might be a killer. Not a murderer. Murder is a very specific kind of killing. Pretty sure they went through a whole fucking trial over that exact thing. So for the response to be the exact opposite of what reality is in order to invoke another response from that group of people, that seems more like deliberate antagonistic behavior to me than I don't know, stalwart protest of what is good and right in the world. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I do kind of want to take a lap around the tweeters to see exactly. You know what, dude? Let's go to BuzzFeed for that, because they are a little gossip rag. They're like TMZ for the internet. And we'll find out. God, I'm an idiot. Maybe actually open the thing, Steve. Maybe figure out which tab you're on first. There we go. I swear to God, you guys, one of these days, I'm gonna be able to have like the wherewithal and the resources to have the show prepped out 100%, laid out in a way that makes sense to me before we go on the air.
What's the fun in that?
I just want to try it to see if it could happen.
Oh, God,
fucking goober. Jack Dorsey stepping down as CEO of Twitter, according to an announcement from the company. Twitter's board of directors has unanimously appointed Parag Agrawal as CEO and a member of the board effective immediately. Agrawal has been at Twitter since 2011 and was previously chief technology officer. So all of the bugs and all of the bullshit missing likes and retweets and censorship and shit like that seems to be Parag's department. This bodes well for us, friends and neighbors. It does. I've decided to leave Twitter because I believe the company is ready to move on from its founders. My trust in Parag as Twitter's CEO is deep. His work over the past 10 years has been transformational. Yes, it transformed Twitter from a free speech platform to the one we know and loathe. Current board member Brett Taylor will become the chair of Twitter's board of directors. Sorry about that, guys. Dorsey will be stepping down from the board in 2022 when his term expires. Dorsey tweeted a screenshot of the email that he sent to staff about his departure. There's a lot of talk about the importance of a company being founder-led. Ultimately, I know that's severely limiting and a single point of failure. I believe that it's critical a company can stand on its own, free of its founder's influence or direction. Recently, Dorsey has taken an interest in cryptocurrency. That's not true. I believe he's always been a fan of cryptocurrency and the idea of a decentralized internet called Web3. He sold his first tweet, just setting my Twitter as an NFT in March 2021, spoke at the Bitcoin conference. Currently, his Twitter bio just reads Bitcoin. Twitter shares spiked nearly 10% after the news before trading was halted. So we could speculate as to why that is. We can't say for certain, but we can speculate why Twitter's stock would jump up 10% on the news that its founder was leaving the company. Personally, and whether or not there's any truth to this, I don't know. It could just be like old school cypherpunk fanboying, but I have heard from a number of people who I would think aren't emotionally invested in Jack Dorsey's success or good personhood. Say that he was more, one of the more reasonable social media overlords in terms of what we were and were not allowed to do on the platform. How much of that is actually true, I can't say for 100%. There are rumors flying around that Dorsey is headed to the Federal Reserve of Oklahoma, but nothing to substantiate that so far. We'll definitely keep an eye on that a little bit, because this really is a I don't know, fairly powerful individual. I'm not sure. What do you think? You think the CEO of Twitter is like an actual player, or he's just part of, like, yeah. And now we have Twitter's chief technology officer taking over as CEO. I know that Jack used to be friends with people in the anonymous community. I know that. That's what I'm saying. Those are some of the people that have been telling me that, oh gosh, no, Twitter sucks, but it ain't Jack's fault, guy. And I don't know. I know how many shitty decisions I have to make on any given day, and I'm responsible for way less people. I'll say that. I'm not saying I have empathy for the dude. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, on a day-to-day basis, I have to make a bunch of incredibly shitty decisions. And I get to make a couple of good ones. And, shit's weird, man. Shit's weird. Let's see. I did that story so I can close it. What are you? Okay. You know what? No, I don't know. Anybody know what time we started the fucking show? Okay, 35. So we've been going about 25 minutes on YouTube. Gonna try and squeeze in another story. Let's do this one. This is coming out of RT. And good on them for picking this up, because you guys know. You guys, I'll set you over here. You guys know, well, because you watch this show, and because you watch a lot of the people that we bring on here. So you've been updated and aware on the ongoing war against Julian Assange at WikiLeaks. When the UC Global spying story broke out of El País, a Spanish outlet, last, I want to say, June of 2020, we were all over it. We were covering it. When the Gray Zone picked it up and dug further into it, we covered all of that. About a year later, when Michael Isikoff at Yahoo wrote Max Blumenthal's story that Max wrote from El País, except for Michael Isikoff wrote it like a year and a half later. When Michael Isikoff wrote that story, it caused a fair amount of media attention, media buzz. What we find out from RT is that the Guardian knew about it the whole time. The Guardian newspaper reportedly knew about alleged spying on Julian Assange by a CIA-connected security firm long before it became public knowledge, and pumped the company for information instead of reporting the espionage. The allegations against leading UK publication, Guardian, which is a record of covering the WikiLeaks whistleblower. Yeah, that's a way of saying it. That's definitely one way you could write that sentence. Another way you could write that sentence is, let's see where to go. Really? A record of covering the WikiLeaks whistleblower. Okay, so in the first place, Julian Assange, not a whistleblower. Look, man, I'm pulling up the fucking article from RT because I'm trying to give him a round of applause here, but you fucked it up within the second paragraph right off the bat. And who wrote this shit? Henry Nichols. Henry, bro, my friend, like, it takes 30 seconds to verify that Julian Assange is a journalist and publisher and not a whistleblower. I know everybody thinks they're the same thing. They're not the same thing. The allegations against the leading UK publication, which has a record of covering the WikiLeaks whistleblower. You could also write that sentence as, it has a record of printing bullshit, lies, smears, and intelligence community wish lists. Were raised by the left-wing news site Mint Press. It cited communications between the security firm UC Global and the Guardian. The company is currently being tried in Spain for its alleged role in conducting clandestine surveillance against Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, which it reportedly did on behalf of the CIA. One particular exchange happened between the firm and Guardian correspondent Stephanie Kirschgeisner, Stephanie, who co-authored a September 2018 story claiming Russian and Ecuadorian officials had been planning an operation to smuggle Assange to Russia. Right. So, Stephanie, who co-authored a fake story, is talking to the company that spied on Julian Assange at the behest of the CIA, but not reporting anything. According to Mint Press in November 2018, the Guardian journalist queried a source in UC Global asking for a transcript of a conversation involving Assange and Rami Vallejo, then head of Ecuador's National Intelligence Secretariat, also known as SND. Vallejo visited the embassy in December 2017 to discuss with Assange the logistics of his possible transfer to a third country. The nature of the conversation was confirmed to Mint Press by Aitor Martinez, a lawyer who oversaw Ecuador's attempt to move Assange out of the embassy under diplomatic protection. The suggested diplomatic posting would be in China, Serbia, Greece, Bolivia, Venezuela, or Cuba, the lawyer said. He said that Russia was not considered a suitable destination by the Assange team due to obvious Russiagate ramifications. When the Ecuadorian Foreign Ministry attempted to appoint Assange as a diplomat in Russia, his lawyers refused. We said, that's crazy. What are you talking about? The request for a transcript shows that Stephanie was well aware that UC Global was spying on Julian Assange and recording his most sensitive conversations. Mint Press argued, instead of reporting this fact to the public, the newspaper promoted a narrative that Assange's team was conspiring with Russia to illicitly flee the embassy. Now, here's the thing. We're not 100% certain when the CIA under Mike Pompeo was plotting to murder Julian Assange after illegally removing him from the embassy. We know that these conversations were being had. We know that the CIA was looking for a legal loophole to extrajudiciously murder Julian Assange. If this bitch from The Guardian is writing a story while she's having communications with people in the company, and the story she writes and puts out for not just the good citizens of, the UK to read in The Guardian, but for Mike Pompeo's CIA to read in The Guardian, which they can use as justification of, oh, look, they're planning to smuggle him out of Russia. We better fucking get him now. God damn it. At any rate, free Julian Assange. I actually have a Michael Isikoff article here that goes along with UC Global. Doesn't necessarily highlight The Guardian as a piece of shit narrative management rag. However, does have a little bit more to do with the story, so we should go ahead and get into that. And then we can do the rest of the show over on the Rockfin. The Justice Department has failed. That's the whole article right there. Everybody can go home now. We figured it out. The Justice Department has failed to respond to multiple requests from Spanish authorities for help in an investigation into a local security firm suspected of being used by the CIA to conduct aggressive and potentially illegal surveillance of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. I am not so pleased about it, said Santiago Pedras, investigating judge in charge of the case, in an exclusive interview with Yahoo News, when asked about the failure of officials in Washington so far to cooperate with this probe. They have absolutely not answered anything. Since June of last year, Spanish judges have sent 3 requests for information to the Justice Department, primarily seeking information about the ownership of IP addresses believed to be in the United States that had access to files documenting Assange's activities while he was holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, according to copies of the request reviewed by Yahoo News. Despite a mutual legal assistance treaty between the U.S. and Spain pledging to assist each other in criminal investigations, none of the Spanish requests have yet elicited any substantive responses from the United States, the judge said. Instead, Justice Department lawyers have asked Spanish authorities for more information about the basis for the inquiry before taking any action. Well, we have concrete evidence that you employed the security firm at the Ecuadorian embassy while they already had a contract with the government of Ecuador. We have concrete evidence that in that business agreement, you asked employees at UC Global to spy on Julian Assange and his meetings with his attorneys, his doctors, his loved ones, his confidants. We have concrete evidence that there were servers that you, the CIA, established to where you could have real-time live streaming video of his meetings with his attorneys. So that's what we want you to respond to. Chief among those puzzle pieces is whether the U.S. intelligence officials, as Assange's lawyers have alleged, arranged for the Spanish security firm UC Global to violate Spanish privacy and bribery laws by installing cameras and hidden microphones inside the embassy, including in a woman's bathroom where Assange would sometimes take meetings. This in turn allowed the company to secretly record or otherwise eavesdrop on conversations that Assange had with his lawyers, doctors, advisors, journalists, and others, including in one case, a U.S. congressman. According to internal documents from the Spanish case, we want to find out what was done with this material. He pointed to the CIA's potential role as a principal theory that we are trying to investigate. He did not rule out, however, there could be other explanations for the alleged data transfer. That's true. That's true. There could be all kinds of ways and reasons that Assange's private meetings with his attorneys could have been recorded and sent directly to the CIA in real time. There's totally a number of ways that couldn't happen, and it would be remiss to rule them all out. So I applaud the judge for his fortuitousness. I don't even know if that's a word. Sleeping Beauty. If we're a country ran by the people for the people, why do we still have a CIA? Because we never were a country ran by the people for the people. Never. Like by design, in the original documents, unless you were a dude, a white dude who owned property, and not just a little property, but a substantial amount of property, you were not allowed to vote. Renters didn't become allowed to vote until after the 1800s. But specifically, from the inception of the OSS in the 40s to the formation of the CIA, I mean, we've really been under intelligence capture for 70 years almost, but 60 years. But before that, it was essentially rule by bloodline or robber baron. We're a post-industrial oligarchy. Anybody who says otherwise is selling something. It doesn't mean that we have to stay that. That doesn't mean that we only get to go to the technocratic panopticon. But anybody selling this by the people for the people shit. No, man. No. Let's see. I need to find a clip long enough to where I can go to the bathroom. What we got here? Oh, those are just protests. You know what? Maybe before we go to before we go to the rock fin, I will play this Star Bear clip here. It's hilarious. Bring you up and pause back here. Oh shit. This is awesome. Okay, go here and here, here, here. Yeah, dude. The Canadian Elizabeth Warren, for your listening pleasure.
You muted it.
Oh, I did, huh? Doing great.
In 2019, Carrie Barassa took the stage to deliver a TEDx talk about her rags to riches story.
My name's Maureen Starbear. I'm just going to say it. I'm emotional. So,
Barassa leads an Indigenous health research lab at the University of Saskatchewan, all while observing Indigenous ceremony and tradition.
I'm Derek Clan. I'm an Anishinaabe Métis from Treaty 4 Territory.
Barassa told the crowd she grew up in Regina's inner city, where she and her family suffered the effects of racism.
We grew up in a really poor, disrupted family, and that was due to intergenerational trauma, and that caused addictions and violence.
In 2019, Carrie Barassa took the stage to deliver a TEDx.
Oh, I mean, so if you're a native of any sort, if you are an indigenous human and you see that, like, I mean, dude, I get it. I do. You understand why you would really not like most people that look like Carrie Barassa. So there's the link to the Rockfin chat. You do not need an account on Rockfin to watch this live stream. You just got to click the link. If you want to participate in the live chat, then you can make your free FREE $3 free Rockfin account. If you love what we do, you're welcome to support the show. It's $9.99 a month. You get all of the paywall content on the network, of which we really don't put up much, but other people do. And yeah, it's a great way to support your favorite content creators. It's also a really good way to watch full episodes, because we don't do full episodes on YouTube anymore. Oh yeah, and we gotta upload some shit to Odyssey too, but
My bad.
it's all we're learning. 3 years into it. It's fucking
The last one we did was not my fault. Odyssey fucked up.
okay. So see you in hell, Odyssey. Thank you for your support and for backing up our platform. Link is in the chat. We will see you over on the Rockfin. If you're watching